Alright guys, so what we're doing today is brewing up a double IPA, kind of like an American double IPA. So on the topic of brewing big beers, you might have made an IPA in the past or a style, but you'd like to boost it up. But some things to keep in mind is, while we are adding extra booze to the brew, we also want to make sure that the balance is right with our beer. So we're taking an existing pale ale wort, but you might want to try this with a can, a pale ale IPA can, or a pouch. And it's pretty simple to do. A couple things to keep in mind is make sure you have definitely enough yeast to get that job done, because the yeast is going to be confronted with a whole lot of sweet wort. With this brew, we're using 2, you could even use 3 packets of just a clean ale yeast, in this case USO 5, and we're actually hydrating that yeast now with some tepid water. So what I've done, and what you can do easily on home, is get a sanitized mug or just any wide-mouthed glass, and get approximately 10 mils per 1 gram of yeast. So with this 22 grams of yeast that I have here, I've got about 220 mil of boiled sterile water that's cooled down to about just under 30 degrees. Take the yeast, sprinkle it on top, and leave it about 20 minutes covered, and then that will actually sort of foam up like a paste. Other things to keep in mind, I would recommend keeping your actual recipe kind of simple. The star of the show is definitely going to be the hops, which we have bittering hops, which we'll be boiling. Flavor and aroma hops, which we've got about 60 grams, or even more, which will be boiling for a very short period of time, but also allowing to steep to get a lot of the flavor out, just like we would a tea. And then we've also got more hops, which will be going in as a dry hop. So 40, 60 and 80 grams of hops. Because we're really aiming for bitterness, but also a huge amount of aroma in the dry hop and in the steeping stage. Now I have some wort here, which I've got from steeping grain packs. And you can also just boil your hops in a small amount of wort, but make sure you have enough liquid actually boiling so the hops can really absorb that and they don't get too cramped inside your pot. So I've got about 4 or 5 litres boiling at the moment. So I'm actually going to take my bittering hops, which in this case is Citra, 40 grams of Citra, and just for convenience, I'm going to let those boil inside of a boil bag. Alternatively, if you don't have a boiling bag, just have a kitchen strainer or a sieve on hand. Just makes dealing with all this a little bit less painless and less messy. Okay, so you want to make a double IPA, you've never made one before, but you've made pale ales. So that's a good place to start. So with a pale ale or any pale ale recipe that you've had, we're basically adding about 2 kilos of extra malt to that. So with your kit and kilo, if you want to do a kit and kilo brew, take a pale ale that you like, your kilo of sugar. In this case, we're adding 2 kilos of liquid malt, just liquid light malt and liquid wheat malt. The liquid wheat malt, the idea behind that is to sort of smooth out the body of the beer, because while it will be quite bitter, we don't want it to be harsh. So making sure we have the right bitterness, but also having a nice smooth bodied beer as well, is why we're using liquid wheat malt. So we're taking the initial bitterness of these kits, which these 3 options, with the exception of the IPA, are about 30-35 IBU. And really with these Citra hops, we're boosting that bitterness up to about 80 or 90 IBU, or international bitterness units. So a good place to start when you're putting your recipe together is finding a hop that has a higher potential bitterness, so alpha acids. So we're using Citra because it is already quite high. So we can use less of that to get more bitterness, and thus wasting less hops. Okay, so our yeast is foaming up and starting to foam up nicely now. So in about 15 minutes time, just when this whole process has come to an end, the boils come to an end, they'll be ready to go straight into our wort. Alright, so our Citra hops have been boiling for about 25 minutes. We've got a fair whack of bitterness out of that already. And now we're going to add Cascade and Amarillo additions, mainly for flavour. We'll have 5 more minutes of boiling this. The reason we'll do the 5 minutes is you'll still get a little bit of bitterness from them, but what we're really trying to do is get like bitterness out of it, but not so much that you cook all of that flavour away. So our short boil here, after the 5 minutes, we're going to turn that heat off and we're going to sort of submerge that in. You can submerge it in a cold sink of water. In this case, we're just going to put it in a big pot of ice water just to bring that temperature right down and stop getting any more bitterness from our hops. Alright, well that's it for the boil. We've got all the bitterness that we need. We've gotten fair whack flavour out of that last hop addition too. So we're going to turn the heat off. Now, like I said, you can put this in a sink of cold water. The colder the better, because you really want to stop getting any more bitterness or cooking any bitterness from those hops. So I'm putting that right into a tub of ice. Another thing you can do, you can actually take your wort and have that in the freezer at that time or in the fridge, because it's really important that when we mix everything together, when we take this wort and we take our liquid malts, in our fermenter, we really want that temperature to be sitting somewhere between 20 and 24 degrees. If you get that liquid too hot, you are going to kill your yeast. So that's why it's really important that we balance these temperatures, hot and cold, so we find that sweet spot of 20 to 24 degrees. So just let this steep. While that temperature drops, you're still going to get flavour from the hops. You may even want to give them a little bit of stir just to sort of disperse them and make sure you're getting the most out of your hops, because they can get a little bit cramped. So we'll leave that for probably another 10 minutes. Once that's cooled down, we can sort of strain everything out of it straight into our fermenter with the rest of our malt. Okay, so that's been steeping for about 10 minutes now. So we just want to really dissolve or mix the liquid malts back into this. So liquid light malts and liquid wheat malt. You can experiment with others, but I like to sort of follow the policy of keeping a double IPA pretty simple when it comes to the actual malt profile. You might want to actually heat these tubs up at the time just so they pour a little easier. Maybe get a little bit of water in there and shake them out. Stir. You can see it's still very sticky, so stir it for a little while just until that's all mixed together. Okay, so now we've got very, very sweet, strong wort, and an imperative, I suppose, when you're making strong beer like this is to aerate your wort. So in the past you may have stirred it very well. For these purposes I'm actually just going to shake the fermenter like crazy. I won't show you all of this, but if you can shake it for as long as possible, that'll introduce a lot of oxygen into your wort and will allow sort of the yeast to get going a little bit quicker in your batch. Just give it a bit of a head start. So there we are. That's wort at about 1082 original gravity, so that will be a pretty big one. I expect that to get about maybe 8.5%. So I've taken my wort which is chilled down and added it to the remainder of the wort, and that's a pretty comfortable low 20 degree sort of temperature range, which is sort of perfect for what we're trying to do. So I guess the big takeaways from this recipe is obviously add your extra malt to boost up the strength of the beer, but make sure you don't do that at the expense of bitterness. So I would recommend a half-hour length at least boil of a strong bittering hop. So something like Citra, Columbus, other other ones, you know, you can use even Chinook or anything that you like. You're not really going to be getting so much flavour out of those hops. You're just really boosting that those bitterness units to the range of an IPA, so we can maintain a balance between bitterness and malts. So make sure you have plenty of hops on hand for flavour as well, which will be coming from mainly a short boil and a short steep, and lots and lots of yeast. So I'm going to put that away and I'll dry hop it with my 80 grams of hops for about 4 days. I'll do that near the end of fermentation, probably as I'm 4 days away from packaging my beer. So when that specific gravity is getting pretty low to the point where I think it's just about finished fermenting. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Just make sure the big two things for when you're thinking about making a big beer is lots of yeast and lots of hops too. Make sure you get that balance between bitterness and maltiness just right. Thanks for watching and happy brewing.